Just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
You know, the fact that he did that, it was good because you know we didn't think it was going to go 6 rounds.
Lennox Lewis saw this disaster coming long before the first bell rang. In Miami, his warning turned into brutal reality. This wasn't influencer theater or a novelty sideshow. It was a cold lesson in what happens when internet fame collides with true heavyweight pedigree. While fans debated whether Jake Paul's bravado could survive against elite power, Lewis watched calmly from ringside. By the 6th round, the answer wasn't debatable anymore. This wasn't an upset. It was a complete deletion.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. What do you think when I heard about the fight? I said, they're going to actually fight? I didn't believe it. But what we got to do is say, Jake Paul really bit off a lot this time. He's serious. He wants to go up against a true heavyweight, and that's Anthony Joshua. So he's up against a heavyweight. How's he gonna adopt? How's he gonna feel? How's he gonna fight when he gets in there? I don't see him fighting. I see him looking to survive in the fight. He's gonna feel the uppercut. He's gonna feel the jab. He's gonna feel the right hand. How's he gonna react? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how he's gonna react.
When Lennox Lewis first heard the fight was even being discussed, he thought it was a joke. The former heavyweight king openly admitted he couldn't believe Jake Paul would agree to face someone built like Anthony Joshua. Lewis compared AJ to a precision-engineered supercar, while Jake was closer to an everyday commuter vehicle. His prediction was simple. Once Joshua landed clean, survival, not winning, would become Jake's only objective. And the moment Lewis identified as the turning point was just as unforgiving as the finish itself. 3.
My mom wanted me not to fight Anthony Joshua. I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this now. I'm alone in the hospital. Got to eat liquid now. Anthony Joshua be ready for a rim.
When Lennox Lewis first heard the fight was even being discussed, he thought it was a joke. The former heavyweight king openly admitted he couldn't believe Jake Paul would agree to face someone built like Anthony Joshua. Lewis compared AJ to a precision-engineered supercar, while Jake was closer to an everyday commuter vehicle. His prediction was simple. Once Joshua landed clean, survival, not winning, would become Jake's only objective. And the moment Lewis identified as the turning point was just as unforgiving as the finish itself.
It's my job. We fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is, and I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tame. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't personal.
One of the biggest pre-fight debates centered around Joshua's 15-month layoff. Critics screamed ring rust, and early on, it seemed like AJ was unusually cautious. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't rushing. But as Lewis explained, this wasn't inactivity. It was control. Joshua was dealing with a smaller, faster opponent whose entire game plan was avoidance. Those early rounds weren't hesitation. They were reconnaissance. AJ was shaking off the dust while turning a global pay-per-view star into a live training exercise.
The game plan from both guys from round one. Jake was very mobile. I mean, he had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ, and people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety of the fight.
Jake Paul's plan was obvious from the opening seconds. Move non-stop. Stay wide. Avoid exchanges at all costs. He circled the ring like a sprinter, hoping frustration would work in his favor. Lewis pointed out that this kind of movement drains energy fast, especially against a heavyweight who doesn't need many openings. While Jake mocked missed shots and played to the cameras, he was burning fuel he couldn't afford to lose. The early rounds looked clever, but they were quietly accelerating the collapse.
That 6th round, you saw AJ come alive. He saw a wounded animal and finally went in for the kill. And let me tell you something. Jake took some fucking hard KO punches in this fight. The first one in the first round, he got hit with a shovel hook from the left side. He got hit with an uppercut at one point. It's a heavyweight fight. I'm not going to congratulate Jake for, getting beat up, but I am going to congratulate his heart for being able to take those punches and not quit on himself, at least to the point of being like, I'm just going to stay on the ground here and call it an evening. He didn't do that. He got up multiple times. He got dropped multiple times. Again, kind of the clinch weird thing, but he would get hit with a punch and, look to clinch at AJ and just kind of fall by the wayside. That happened twice in the 5th round. And then in the 6th, the levee broke. He finally got Jake into the corner, threw a flurry, and then came across when AJ was like going around the side with the right hand and trying to chop over the top, and then, big looping shots that he was missing early on because Jake was moving his head and doing some good things defensively. Fair play to him. He was protecting himself very well early on. In the 6th round, his gas tank was done. The legs were not there. He had already been hurt a bunch from AJ, and AJ went to the body with the jab and chopped a right hand over, and it hit Jake, and he snapped his head, collapsed to the canvas. That's it, and that's all. It was so devastating that Jake turned around and looked into the crowd and went, oh, fuck, that's the realization. That is reality of heavy.
By the 5th round, the road ran out. Even the referee stepped in, reminding both fighters that the crowd didn't pay for a foot race. That's when the fight shifted permanently. Jake slowed. Joshua didn't. Lewis noted the exact moment Jake stopped moving and started absorbing. A crushing left hook bent his legs in the 5th. From there, it was damage control. The 6th round barely crossed the 2-minute mark before a vicious straight right ended everything. The showboating vanished. Reality took over.
And that's the problem with the direction he's been going in, is he puts on big fights, but not competitive fights. Fighting Chavez Jr., that was an easy win. Nate Diaz, an easy win. Mike Tyson, an easy win. Anthony Joshua, not competitive for the opposite reason. He's completely not expected to win, and it wasn't competitive. He stacks the chips too heavily either way, and because of that, we never actually get to find out how good Jake is. And part of that, I think, is maybe deliberate, because then we never know, and the storyline can go anywhere. And while you don't know really how good he is, there's always another dream to sell, and it's almost genius level promoting. It really is. But for his own sake, you're getting into your late 20s now, your physical prime. You're only going to ever find out how good you really are by getting in there with people who are of the level that you claim you're at the right weight class. You are not a cruiserweight. You've got a layer of, body fat on you. You can't be doing that in boxing. If you're a serious boxer, you don't get in there looking like Jake Paul looks. You look shredded, and that's why really he's a light heavyweight. But fuck it. If you want to be cruiserweight, be a cruiserweight. Regardless, just fight people who are now ranked, and let's find out where the fuck he is. Because surely, these money grab Tyson fight, the AJ fight, he's packed that bank chock full. And credit to him. Even if he has hustled people or whatever the fuck, credit to him. One of the best promoters in boxing history, actually. I really do believe that. Because even when fights seem ridiculous, he always gets people to tune in. And he's done great things with Netflix. And hopefully that opens doors up for other boxers, and he's certainly opened a lot of doors up for female boxers. So again, credit to him for that. But let's find out how good you really are now. Because I just don't want any more gimmick fights. I just want the real fucking deal.
The aftermath told its own story. Jake tried to maintain composure in the post-fight interview, but blood filled the towel in his hands. Later reports confirmed a double fracture to his jaw, backed up by x-rays he shared himself. The Florida Athletic Commission issued an immediate 60-day medical suspension. Behind the scenes, word spread that he was rushed to the hospital shortly after. It was proof of an old boxing truth. Heavyweight power isn't something you experiment with.
Jake Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. he sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman, and he's a YouTuber, influencer. Call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers. You know, they should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy out and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg, so he was never in any danger. You know, he's always going to get hit back. I mean, you know, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. Okay. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, you know, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably stay up and watch that.
And then came the financial fallout. No big fight night is complete without chaos at the betting window. This time, the infamous Drake curse struck again. The rapper reportedly wagered $200,000 on Jake Paul to pull off the shocker. That bet evaporated the moment Jake hit the canvas. Online reactions were merciless, with fans joking that Drake's support sealed Jake's fate before the opening bell. The pattern continues. When Drake backs you, trouble usually follows.
And I've just been sent a video of Anthony Joshua talking about if he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring. I think, you know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking shite like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please, barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him, the man. You're a classless loser, coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum.
But the biggest revelation of the night didn't come from a punch. During the broadcast, Lennox Lewis and Eddie Hearn dropped a bombshell. According to them, this fight was never the real objective. Contracts for a 2026 Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury megafight are already signed. The Miami bout was simply AJ getting rounds in before the real war begins. Jake Paul wasn't the destination. He was an obstacle on the road to the biggest heavyweight clash Britain has ever seen.
And your message for Fury?
Fury, listen, we'll see you in September.
Is it realistic, you think? I mean, it's been like 7 years, right?
We'll get it. You'll get it.
With the rust gone and momentum restored, the heavyweight division now looks toward a legacy-defining 2026. Joshua has his sights set higher than ever. The only unanswered question is whether Jake Paul can mentally and physically recover from a dismantling this complete. Some defeats fade. Others leave scars that don't.
TV, what did I just watch? All right? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. You know, even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you know, you're gonna get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just run for. He was doing football jukes. You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big, and he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. Then notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua, and then like would go down, and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break, and like he would just kill time that way. Then he was completely angling off. He's completely blading his shoulder off completely to the point where he's so bladed off that he can't even punch. He was just trying to make himself as small of a target as possible. Now Anthony Joshua, people are gonna say, oh, why didn't Anthony Joshua catch up to him? Because Anthony Joshua never had fast feet to begin with, and Anthony Joshua honestly should have probably cut off the ring a little bit better. That's my one critique of Joshua. He probably could have cut off the ring a little bit better. Joshua's always never really had the best feet, but in terms of cutting off the ring, could have at least done that. But honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy ran for his life in a 22 by 22 foot ring. That ring was huge. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously, like, dude, that's it. That's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the respect of the boxing community. This was the one. He came out with all this rap crap and doing the Hulkamania crap and all that other stuff and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, is he that calm, or is he literally just setting up his own demise? I don't know. AJ came out to the ring really serious, which would you expect? And then, I mean, he never fought. Jake never fought. Like, he never fought the whole fight.
Now we want to hear from you. Does Jake Paul return to the ring, or did this fight permanently close that chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.